What's up guys, it's your boy Ethan. Hope you're having a great day. Welcome back to another video on the channel, and we're going to Twin River today for another session. I am not looking forward to it. It's not great to go to a session and go to a place I don't want to play poker in, but the Encore has not opened yet and we need some poker. And also, I just wanted to give you a reference point. I just uploaded this video here. If you guys can see it, it is the flopping the stone cold nut to face a 3-bet jam. So that is when I am making this video for a frame of reference because, well, I'm just kind of backlogged on videos and stuff. So just don't have enough time to post all of my sessions because I play just a little too much and got a lot to fit in there. So who knows when I'm uploading this video, but we're heading off to Twin. Gonna just play some 1-2, just trying to make some money, not trying to play too big, and have a stable session in there. So let's get it going. We'll see what the Tuesday 1 p.m. crowd looks like. So let's get to it. Very first hand here, we have Ace Jack of Hearts under the gun +1, open up to $15, and we get a big stack in late position who calls. So just heads up, me and him want to get a mix up with him because he is a big stack. Flop comes Queen, Deuce, Deuce with 2 clubs out there. So got the Queen out there that I can definitely rep. Hits my range a lot more than his, obviously. I lead out and bet $15. He thinks for just a little too long. He thinks he thinks for an above average amount of time and makes the call. So thinking he's probably on like pocket 10s, not even that strong actually, like 5s, 6s, something weird like that. Maybe a low pocket pair that's ahead of me right now. But we're going heads up to a turn. Turns the Jack of Clubs, so flush draw gets there. Still gonna continue here. Rep that I'm strong. I bet $35. He thinks for a while, then folds, so we take that one down. Second in, I have pocket deuces, once again under the gun +1. Under the gun player limps. No need to raise the pot up here with deuces, so I limp, and it actually becomes a 7-way limped pot. So we are going 7 ways to a flop of deuce, 4, ace, rainbow. Awesome flop, pretty connected, but flopping bottom set is always pretty good there, and when it checks to me, I check, and unfortunately action checks all the way around. The turn is the 8 of hearts, bringing in the backdoor flush draw, and once again it checks to me, and I decided to size pretty big here. I think any ace can call this bet. I bet $15, basically a pot size bet, and unfortunately everyone folds. Hindsight, probably betting $7 is nicer, but honestly, as strong as I am with the set, I'd rather just play with the top of people's ranges here on this board in this limped pot. But we take that one down. This one's pretty interesting. We're in the big blind with pocket aces, and we have about 370 in our stack. So there's 2 limpers to me. The cutoff makes it $10, and there's a button caller, and I decide to raise up to $45. Sizing up in my raising and my sizing because once again the cutoff is the big stack. The button is, has a decent stack, but I'm trying to get stacks in and play a big pot with aces out of position. So only the button calls. The cutoff ends up folding, unfortunately. Not sure what he's raised folding with, but couldn't get him in this time. Flop comes ace, 7, 8 rainbow. So literally gorgeous, beautiful flop. Top set, nuts here. So too strong for me to check. So I decided to just to bet. So I decided to check. He bets for me $55, and I Hollywood a little bit, pretend like I'm thinking, obviously, and I decided to flat. The turn's the 6 of hearts. So once again, such a connected board. I check. He bets $100, and he only has about 105 behind. So I'm not going to insta-jam here, obviously. I've just got to think for a little bit, pretend like I'm thinking, but definitely jamming him, putting him all in is the move to go. So that's exactly what I do. I put him all in, I jam. He quickly makes the call. So we are heads up going to the river. River's the 10. I show my aces, and he is not happy and flips over his pocket 7s in my direction, and we win that cooler there. So absolute cooler spot, set over set, and happy to be on the right side of one. So things are looking pretty good. winning a pretty big pot with aces, and yeah, feeling good about it. Next hand, I have King Jack offsuit in middle position. The player to my right, who seems like he's a little bit tighter on the older side, makes it $5. I'm not playing a $5 raised pot here, so I decided to 3-bet to $20. The button calls and my right calls as well. So 3 ways to a flop of queen, 6, 7s with 2 spades out there. Having the king of spades helps a ton. So when it checks to me, just got to fire for aggression for $35. Just that's normal c-bet. The button folds and the player on my right calls. So we're heads up. I think he's got a queen a lot of the time here, but who knows? Turn is actually a queen of clubs, which is really nice. When it actions to him, I actually realized and noticed that his arm twitched towards the chips. And in my opinion, that seemed like he really wanted to bet and really connected with that queen. So, but he ended up stopping himself and checking. So thinking that that's definitely a sign of strength, wanting to bet it and really like that queen. There's nothing I can do. I don't think I can ever bluff him off the board, especially if he has a queen out there. So I decided to check it back and hoping to improve to a king and just get some showdown value. The river's a 7. He bets a small, tiny bet of $50, and there's nothing to do here but folds. So he takes it down, and we're on to the next one. Shortly following that hand, I have ace-jack offsuit under the gun with about 600 in my stack. I open up to $12, trying to get players in, and we get a late position, button, and small blind call. So we are 4 ways to a flop of jack 8-7 with 2 diamonds out there. Top, pretty good flop for me. I fire a c-bet of $30. The late position player ends up jamming for about 64 total. Folds all the way back to me, 34 more to call. Nothing I can do here, obviously. I'm ahead a lot of the time, so I throw in the call. Turn in the river is the 4 diamonds and 9 of clubs. And unfortunately, we get shown the bad news. He has ace-5 of diamonds for the turned nut flush. So don't lose all of those there, but for such a small price, I guess I'm okay with losing a little bit. Rapid firing through these hands, I have jacks in the cutoff. About 500 in my stack. There's one limper to me. I raise it up to $15. The player on my left in the small blind and the limpers call. So we are going like 5 ways to a flop, I think, or something like that. 4 ways to a flop of 9, 6, 6, 2 spades and a heart out there. So having the overpair, pretty good flop for me, obviously. So there's one check to me, small blind checks to me. I fire pretty big on the bigger side, but 2/3 pot. I bet $40. The player to my left, like almost instantly snap calls, which is interesting, and everyone else folds pretty quickly. So when he snap calls, it could be a sign of weakness. He could be on the flush draw. He could just have like a weak 9, and we're gonna see a turn card here, which is the Ace of Hearts. Terrible card. He could easily have the Ace of Spades here, going for that flush and turning top pair. I check, and he immediately checks it back. So. Hoping to see a good river and try to get value from a 9, betting pretty small. That's the plan. Unfortunately, that's not what happens. The river's the 2 of spades, so the draw is complete. The ace is there. My jacks don't look great. Everything kind of completes, and I really can't get value from a 9, even if I am ahead here. So I check. He checks it once again. I show down my jacks, and I scoop this pot up. So unfortunate that the run out came that way, and I can't get any value from the 9, but it is what it is, and we're going on to the next hand. Next hand I don't have video of, unfortunately, so I just missed this. I was in the big blind with queen 10 of diamonds, so you're going to see a blank board. Have fun with it. Queen 9 of diamonds in the big blind. There's a middle position and small blind limp, so 2 limps to me. I make it $15, and only the small blind calls. So we're heads up to a flop of queen 6, 4 with 2 spades out there. Once again, amazing flop for me, connecting with it. I decide to fire a bet of $20, and he makes the call. The turn is the 9 off 9, not a spade, which is great. And I think I'm ahead so often here. I guess I lose to weird combos of queen 9, but besides that, I think he has spades just by how the hand's going at this point. So I fire pretty big for $55, trying to get value from spades. He thinks for a little bit and makes the call. So now I really think he has spades here. The river is unfortunately the 4 of spades, so another pairs the board, and Not really great, honestly. I guess I'm ahead of random 2-pair hands like 9-6. But besides that, not the best card with that spade coming in. So I decided to check. He jams for $110, and there's nothing. I mean, I should fold this 9 times out of 10 because I was so convinced he was on spades. But for some reason, for such a small bet, I decided just wanting to pay him off here. There's nothing I really beat. I don't even beat a whole lot of queens, to be honest, but especially with my 10 kicker. But regardless, I decided to make the begrudging call. He shows me Jack-7 of spades, which tilts me unbelievably. Him playing Jack-7 suited, and I'm not happy about that, and we're going to be even less happy about this next hand that I have here. Under the gun, there's an under the gun straddle. I'm in the big blind. I have ace-jack and 400 in my stack now after losing that last hand, which is unfortunate. There's 2 limpers to me with the under the gun straddle, so I decided to bump it up to $25, and only a late position player who's fairly short stacked. He calls, so we're going heads up to a flop. Another beautiful flop of Jack Deuce 3 rainbow. Super dry, and I can't really get value from almost anything here, to be honest. And so because of that, and he's super short, just trying to get the rest of his stack. But I just had to just lead out and check because of how dry the board is, and hoping to have some mediocre turn card to come in to give him a little bit more equity. So I check, he checks it back. Turns the queen of diamonds, kind of not the card I'm looking for because it's another overcard to my pair, but also adds in the backdoor flush draws. So trying to get value from worse. I'm not too sure what could possibly call here, maybe pocket sevens or something, but I only bet $15. And he quickly jams his whole stack in, $44 total. And for $30 more, not going to go anywhere, I called my pair of jacks. The river's the 10 of hearts, so it bricks out the flush draw, but he has ace-king of diamonds for Broadway. Runner straight on me. He did pick up equity on the turn, which is kind of what my plan was, because I don't think he calls a bet there on the flop. So I lose that one. Another rivered card to lose another pot. These pots aren't too big, but it's just the way I'm losing them. I just got super tilted, and like right after this hand, I left to go instead of just grinding out 1-2 or instead of taking a walk, I played 2-5 instead, which is so stupid of me. So that's exactly what I do. Right after this hand, I go play 2-5, hop into the game there, sit down, and we can talk about how that one went. But for this session, this 1-2 session, I played for 4 hours, and I was minus 138. So I was up 300 right after after flopping the set of aces, but just kept trickling down to minus 138, hoping to build things back up on the 2-5 table. We hop into 2-5 at twin, max buy-in's 500, so that's what we are in for. I have ace-queen offsuit in the hijack in this spot here, and I folds all to me pre-flop. I open up to $35 with an under the gun straddle out there. Didn't mention that, but there's under the gun straddle, so I open up to 35. Small blind, who is like so new at this game, like it's their first time playing calls, and a straddle calls as well. So we're gonna go 3 ways to a flop of ace 5-7 rainbow. Action checks to me, and I'm basically nutted on this board. I play ace-king, ace-queen the same way here. I'm going to check it back a lot of the time, in position, rainbow flop. Sure, I guess if someone's playing 6-5, 8-6, open-ended stuff, definitely could get value from that, but it seems pretty unlikely. So I'm going to check it back for deception and hopefully give out some more equity on the turn here to other players. So the turn actually ends up being the ace of spades. So just improving to trips here, and I definitely know I have the best hand. So the small blind ends up tanking for a long time and checks, which is absolutely strange. Really thought she was going to bet here, but she's brand new, don't know what's going on in her mind. Straddler bets $65 with only about 130 behind. I think at this point I could raise here to get the Straddler's rest of their stack. But I really am so confused about the small blind tank checking. So I thought that she might have an ace, a worse ace than me sometimes, or something weird. I have no idea. But I decided to just flat trying to get her to call as well. But she quickly folds. So super strange what she was thinking about. So we go to a river heads up. River's a 5, complete blank. He checks, and he only has 130 behind, and I really want to get value from like a hand like pocket 10s, pocket 7s, not pocket 7s actually, pocket something. I don't know. I ended up boating up obviously with the double paired board. So there's not a whole lot of things I can get value from. I decided to only throw out a small bet of $75, and he quickly makes the the fold. I mean, so that's how that ran out. But won a pot in 2-5, which is always nice after running really bad at 1-2. Next hand here, I have pocket kings in the cutoff with about 650 in front of me. The middle position player raises to $15. It folds all the way back to me in the cutoff. I decide to 3-bet to 45. The button player, who's fairly tilted in my opinion, from the looks of it, he just keeps rebuying. He's on like third rebuy at the table so far since I've been here. He calls, and the pre-flop raiser middle position player calls as well. So let's go 3 ways with a flop. Got kings, feeling good about it. Flop comes 10-9-7 rainbow with a club out there. So pretty connected board, not something I really like. I think 10-9 suited, even something as loose as 10-8 suited has a lot of equity, and obviously I lose a 10-9. So when the middle position player checks to me, it's a mandatory bet spot here, but trying to bet for value, for thin value, and keep people's bottom of their ranges still in. So I decided to bet $60. The button folds pretty quickly, and the middle position player calls. So we're going 3 ways, or heads up to a flop, I mean. Trying to see a good disconnected turn card is probably the most ideal, like a deuce, a 4, 5, something like that. Instead, it's the queen of clubs, so it's a little more connected, I guess. I don't see any jack 8s getting involved here, or king jack, because I block a lot of king jack spots. So queen of clubs, pretty good card. It adds the backdoor flush draw as well, so it can create a lot of equity. And so he checks, and now I'm just going to size a lot bigger here. I'm kind of confident I have the best hand. I mean, if he has queen 10, that's unfortunate, turning top 2. But I bet $170, sizing up. Trying to charge the max for draws. Any jack feels pretty good. Being open-ended, picking up more equity. Obviously, any 8 in this spot feels pretty good as well. And he thinks for a little bit and ends up making the call. He only has about 200 behind, so really wanted to put him in a tough spot in a jam or fold situation. Really wanted him to jam, to be honest. I just snap call that. But he decides to only flat here to see a river card. River's the deuce of diamonds, so the absolute brickest of brick cards that could come, which is amazing for me. He tanks for a long time and ends up leading out and jamming for 200. Nothing I can do. If I'm ahead on the turn, I'm ahead on the river, I snap call, and he just says he's a pair of 7s. I show my kings, and I'm good to pick up a pretty good pot there. Finally, a big pot at 2-5 comes my way, and I'm happy to take it down there. So let's do it. The last hand of 2-5 I'll go over, I have ace-king. There's an under the gun player who opens to $15. I think I'm on the button in the spot, and I 3-bet to 45, and he makes the call. The flop comes jack 3-4 rainbow. It's a great flop for me. Once again, super dry, and I think I can get any non-jacks to fold. So he checks. I bet $60. I get told to stop recording actually, because you're not really allowed to record a twin, and the dealer kind of called me out. But I bet 60. He quickly folds. Just wanted to throw this in there because that's when the recording stops. But luckily, don't get involved into any more hands. And we take it down. So pretty good session for me, and we'll go to the outro. So we are outside, just cashed out. Actually phenomenal lighting in this parking lot here, Twin River. But I jumped into that 2-5 game being super tilted, but ended up being a pretty good result. So I played for 2.5 hours at 2-5, won like 330. I played, or 340, I played like 3.5 hours of 1-2, lost 140, 130, so made a profit of 200 today with the mix of 1-2 and 2-5, which is something I actually kind of like doing at Twin, or maybe just going full 2-5 in general, because honestly at 1-2, I just can't take people playing the bullshit like jack 7 suited and just a bunch of other random cards. Like, I love the call every time in the long run, but I'll pay them off every single time because it was stupid. I don't know. I was super tilted after that Jack 7 hand, and shout out to Al for telling me to just stick it out and play, and that's exactly what I did. I didn't start down, but if you're watching this, Al, thanks for telling me to stick it out. Hopefully you ran good today too, but that's how the session went. I don't know. I think it was really dumb. I was super tilted after 1-2, but hopped into 2-5 and ran into some decent spots. Not really, just that one spot with pocket kings, and cashed out, winning some money, like I think 340 on the session. So I'll take it. Finally, a positive session at 2-5, something I desperately needed. So thanks guys for watching. If you enjoyed, once again, leave a like, and if you're new, subscribe to the channel. Comment below what you guys thought about the hands. I think it was pretty standard, nothing really I could do. But yeah, thanks guys for watching. Peace out.